Welcome to ACT Challenge number 3, where we're focusing on geometry. So geometry is quite a big portion of the ACT. There's a lot of questions over it on each Math ACT test. So a couple things to be thinking about. It's ideal if you remember the theorems and definitions and postulates that you learned in your geometry class. You know, the good old vertical angles, parallel lines, triangle sum theorem, all that good stuff. But there are strategies if you don't remember them, and this is actually a topic where there's quite a few strategies. You do need to know some basic formulas. So there's no way around the fact that you have to know area of a triangle, area of a rectangle, and a square. Those basic formulas. Also, circles, you need to know how to find the area and circumference. In addition to that, you'll want to know the midpoint formula, which you can see, as well as the distance formula, which some of you may know as the Pythagorean theorem instead. We're going to actually look at both of those in your challenge. The Pythagorean theorem, where you can find the side of a right triangle using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C's got to be the hypotenuse. And I mentioned the triangle sum theorem earlier, so saying that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So other things that we can think about in terms of strategies, not necessarily content knowledge for geometry, is there are some strategies. So if you think about angle measures, these diagrams that the ACT gives you for geometry are going to be drawn to scale. It says that they're not, but they will be. So for angle measures, we can determine if an angle is 90 degrees by using a corner of your Scantron on the ACT. And if you put that directly in the angle that you're looking for, and it matches up perfectly, you know you're talking about a 90-degree angle. If it's less than that, it's an acute angle. If it's more than that, it's an obtuse angle. And you can really do a lot of process of elimination that way, just by kind of eyeballing what that angle measure may be. For segment lengths, you can use your Scantron as a ruler. So you can put a piece of paper up against a given side length and kind of mark how long that side length may be. And then you can eliminate, you can kind of estimate how long you think that the missing side length is going to be based on the one that's given, and you can eliminate unreasonable answers. Both of those strategies won't necessarily get you the exact answer, but it will narrow it down to 2 or 3 answer choices where you would have a better chance of guessing the correct answer than you did at the beginning. Quick note about parallel lines. So in your geometry class, you talked about things like alternate interior angles are congruent if there's parallel lines. Instead of trying to remember all of those, because you will need to know them, if you're given that there's parallel lines, generally small angles are going to be congruent to small angles, large angles are congruent to large angles, and if you're talking about a small and a large angle, we can go ahead and assume those are going to be supplementary. Other strategies that you want to think about, mark all given information in a diagram, and if you're talking about a geometry problem that doesn't have a diagram, go ahead and make yourself one. Geometry is a very visual subject. And like I mentioned already, these are strategies just used to help you eliminate unreasonable choices. It won't necessarily get you to the correct answer.